If you don't give up, there is a harvest of joy that's coming. And I told you guys in the last session, I really am. I'm starting to understand the joy now. I'm getting some sort of sinful joy out of watching my daughter parenting toddlers. She called me the other day and she was like, Mom, and I was like, you sound exhausted. You just sound so tired. And really, my house is sort of quiet now. It's very weird. Like, most of our kids have moved out, and sometimes Jay and I will come home at night and there will be nothing happening, and we're both just like, wah, wah. Like, I get kind of melancholy about it. I spoke about this in Pigeon Forge and I just started crying, and everyone's like, are you okay? And I'm like, clearly no. I'm not okay. Some of you guys are in the thick of homeschooling right now, and you've got 6 kids at home and you think it's gonna kill you. You know the old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you... I rewrote it. I told my husband, that's wrong. What doesn't kill you make you wish you were dead. See, homeschooling is hard, and the reason why I'm trying to get you guys to laugh tonight is at some point it has to be funny. At some point you have to start going, you know what, I like the Sharpie that you just drew on my painting. I do. That's fantastic. Because you're gonna look back on this. Some of you guys are just, you're in such a heavy place right now that you can't see the forest through the trees, and I've been there and I understand. And in fact, there was a mom that came into the grocery store one day, and I had, I'm sure, a baby strapped to the front of me, and a baby in the cart, and a baby that I was like, if you let go of my leg, bad things are going to happen. So she was holding on to my leg, and I'm sure there was another one trying to, at my instruction, trying to grab things off the shelves. I was just trying not to die in the grocery store. And this other mom comes around the corner, and she kind of stops dead in her tracks, because now I understand. I was quite a sight. But when you're in the middle of it, that's just your normal. You don't understand why people are staring at you until you get on the other side of it and you go, oh, that's why. And she goes, oh, enjoy it. And I was like, yeah. See, I get you guys. I've been there. But I'll tell you what, when I look back at our homeschooling journey, you know what my kids are talking about now? My kids who are mostly in their 20s now. My kids are talking to me about the things that we did in homeschooling, and they very rarely have anything to do with academics. In fact, I told somebody that I've become the butt of a lot of jokes at Thanksgiving. There was the time I spanked the wrong child. Oh, they were all just like, and she was like, but Mom, it wasn't me. And all the kids were like, and you know what? She survived. She survived, and she still loves me. Your kids are going to survive. You guys, learn how to apologize to your kids when you blow it. Learn how to ask for forgiveness. Learn how to say, you know what, you guys, I'm not always going to get this right. And apparently today was one of those days. But you know what I do know, and I want you to understand? I love you guys so much. And I'm going to try to do better at this thing. When I became a mom, there were so many things that I thought that I knew about mothering that I didn't know. And one of them was I thought I was always going to have energy. I thought I was going to be, because I grew up in a broken home. I wanted to be the home that all the teenagers came and hang out at, I wanted to be the mom that had the foosball table in the basement and all this, and the refrigerator full of Coca-Cola and all the things. And then I got older and I didn't want to have fun anymore. And I didn't care who came over. And one night my kids invited a bunch of people over and they were really noisy, and I went in the kitchen like 3 times because I have like a newborn at this time, and you guys know, newborns make you crazy. And I knew that I was only going to get like 2 hours of sleep that night, in between the baby waking up. So I told the kids, please be quiet. I went into the kitchen, 3 or 4 times, because they had the youth group over and they were making cookies and listening to music. And my house was the thing that I prayed that it would be, except for I didn't like it. And I finally went into the kitchen and my head started spinning counterclockwise on my neck. It was like a scene from The Exorcist. And I was like, get out of the kitchen. Go downstairs. I asked you to be quiet. And they were like, and they scattered downstairs, and I went downstairs after the Lord said, Heidi, you blew it. I went back in the room first. That's not true. I got into bed with my husband. He goes, how'd that go? Fine. And the Lord was like, go back and fix it. And so I put my bathrobe on again, and I went downstairs, and here the kids were like hiding in the farthest corner of the house. What was really sad is that they were the homeschool co-op kids, right? So I was like, hey kids, can we just have it, can we make a deal that you just never tell your parents if this ever happened? you're like, oh, sure, Mrs. St. John. We're not going to tell anybody anything, right? And I looked at Savannah and I said, honey, I am so sorry. I am a crabby mess right now. I am a hot mess. And I love you guys more than anything on the face of the earth. And the last thing that I ever wanted was to be the mom who yelled at their kids in front of their friends. Look at me, I'm the mom. She's like, that's okay, Mom. I love you. It's all right. I looked at Sierra and I said, honey, I am so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm glad that your friends are here. And I looked at her friends and they were like, no, she's not. So I look at her friends and I'm like, no, I'm so glad that you guys are here. And I'm sorry about my behavior. And I look over in the corner and I see Savannah's best friend, Kaylin, and she's one of 7 children, her homeschooling family, parents in the middle of a divorce. And she was crying, and now I feel lower than snake poop in a wagon red. I'm not joking to you guys. I was just like, I am the worst mom ever. And I walked over to Kaylin and I said, honey, I am so sorry. I said, I'm sorry I made you cry. This might be the lowest point of my career as a mother. And she said, oh, she goes, Mrs. St. John, you don't understand. I would give anything to hear my mom apologize just one time. You see, sometimes it's not the screw up. Sometimes it's the makeup. Sometimes it's not the fact that you had a bad day. It's the fact that you're able to get up the next day and do it all over again. See, other homeschool moms are not going to be excited or encouraged or even blessed when you tell them how amazing you are and how your kids are going to get into the classical school of whatever and how they graduated and now they're amazing and Harvard loves them too. What they are incredibly encouraged by is your perseverance and your willingness to get up the next day when you've had a bad day and do it all over again. Your kids are being encouraged by the fact that they know that you love them more than anything else on the face of the earth. There's nothing you wouldn't do for them, but God's going to do something in their life through your willingness to be transparent. That's what it looks like to pass on a legacy to the next generation. God has something so amazing for you. And even though you guys are in the middle of it, I just want to encourage you, don't give up. Don't give up. You got a strong-willed child, you got one job. I told you earlier, outlast them. That's your job. That's your job. That little kid, that little one that God gave me, that little blue-eyed, blonde-haired girl, Summer St. John is the only one of all 7 of our kids with blue eyes like her mama. And I'm telling you what, I for years, I was just like, we are not winning. I'm not winning. I remember one time just looking at Summer and saying, you know what, honey, I love you.